Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to FREEWrite Friday. My name is Jessica Lynn Johnson. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Soaring Solo Studios. And that's a company dedicated to the development and the direction of one-person plays. So welcome here today. A little bit more about me. I've been in this field for over 20 years. I toured as a solo artist myself for 13 years, and I'm currently writing my third solo show and my book about creating solo theater. I've worked on well over 100 solo shows at this point. I am on the advisory board for the LA Women's Theater Festival and a blogger for NoHo Arts. So my article, or my blog rather, on NoHo Arts is called Soaring Solo, and it's just a bunch of tips and tools for solo artists. So be sure to check that out on NoHo Arts website. So that's a little bit about me. I would love to know more about you. Please say hi in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from, where you're at with your solo theater journey. Maybe you're at the very beginning stages. Maybe you're pretty far along. But yes, I'd love to know that and say hi to one another. And the mission of FREEWrite Friday is not only to develop community, but it is also just to really look at story structure with regard to solo shows and other writing tips and techniques regarding solo theater. And you can go ahead and mark your calendar for the next one, which is happening Friday, February 18th. So 10 a.m. on Friday, February 18th, and that's 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're going to be doing anything distracting, go ahead and turn your cameras off. Otherwise, I'd love to see you. And please make sure you have something to write with and write on, or a recording device, something like that, smartphone, something that you can record your thoughts, because we are definitely going to be writing together. And how this works, each time I just come with a talking point or a bit of a lecture, and then we jump into the writing. This isn't a place where we share our work or Q&A or any of that. That's really more reserved for my free class or my private coaching. So if you do have any questions that come up from today and you want to follow up with me, just email me at soringsoloartist@gmail.com. Okay, so we have been looking at Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey for our structure, and applying that to the solo journey. And specifically, we've been looking at Christopher Vogler's interpretation of The Hero's Journey, which distills it down to a 12-step structure. So we're on step 11. We're looking at resurrection. And don't worry if this is your first time or if you've missed a few in between. I hope that each one of these episodes of FREEWrite Friday can really stand alone and you can still get some valuable writing out of it. But I would encourage you to go back to my YouTube channel and watch all the other episodes of FREEWrite Friday to help your writing process. But again, today can stand alone. So don't worry if this is your first one. So looking at the resurrection in the hero's journey, this is, I would say, considered the most dangerous encounter with death, or the biggest climactic fight of the show, the biggest battle. There have been battles and obstacles all along the way in the hero's journey up until this point, but this is the most important death-defying one. And death doesn't have to literally mean physical death. It can be an emotional or mental death, spiritual death. But there's a lot at stake. There's the most at stake. And this is really where the hero wants to bring all of their tools, everything that they've learned and garnered along the way, into this battle, so that they can win, so that they can be reborn and come out on the other side a better version of themselves. And what is also very unique to this particular battle in the hero's journey is that it doesn't necessarily just impact the hero themselves, but it can impact their community at large, their nearest and dearest, the world. So there's a lot at stake. So I'll give you an example. I had the honor of working on a show, Art and Abolition, back in, I think it was 2017, with Brittany Richardson, who is the head of the nonprofit Art and Abolition in Africa. And her story is simply that, well, it's not simple, it's pretty extraordinary actually, but she was just an actor living in, I believe, Atlanta, and found out about sex trade and sex trafficking that was happening in Africa. And she really felt a call in her heart to go and do something about that. So she moved her entire life to Africa and dedicated her life to saving these young women, young girls, from this sex slavery. And so while that had, of course, many built-in obstacles all throughout her one-woman show about her journey with this, I would say that the resurrection, that battle was really with her own mental health. Near the end of the show, everything kind of came together into a point where she was at a make it or break it moment with her mental and emotional health, with everything she'd seen, with everything she'd carried, and really taking care of these women. So she left Africa for a brief vacation to New York City. She began seeing a therapist. And just really working on putting herself back together and battling her own inner demons and battling her mental health, and coming to a better place so that she could go back to Africa, so that she could continue her very purposeful work there. And she still does that work today. You know, her nonprofit Art and Abolition is quite successful. You can look it up online. But that was really the turning point for her, where the stakes were the highest, because if she wasn't good, there was no way she was going to be able to do her good work in this world. So that is an example, I would say, of a resurrection. Now, you might be thinking that you have nothing like that in your own personal world, or maybe you do. You know, who's to say? Maybe you have really intense stories like that as well. But if you don't, that's okay. That's what's so special about this genre, is that everybody's unique story is important and is valuable and is part of the conversation. So in your own world, you might look at things like maybe it's going to your spouse and asking for a divorce, and you know that's not going to be easy, and you know it's going to be a battle, but you also know the relationship is toxic and it's not good for the children, or your extended family, and it's not good for you, it's not good for your spouse. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's going to your boss and finally having the courage to tell them that their workplace practices are not ethical and are not fair, or things like that, and you know it's going to be a challenging battle. So there's all kinds of different ways that this can play out in our world and in your life. But I want you to think in your own world, when have you felt like you had to bring your A game? You had to bring all of the lessons that you learned, all of your skills and your tools to a particular battle in your life. And that maybe it did not just affect you, it affected those that you loved, it affected the world. So give that some thought. And again, remember, this is not about getting anything right, and you never have to share anything that you've written. You can just put it on the page for yourself and be uncensored. So I'm going to set my timer for 8 minutes, and I want you to just write about whatever comes up for you. What comes up for you when you think about a resurrection in your own life? And I will let you know when your time is up. You have just under 2 minutes left, just under 2 minutes. Okay, please wrap up your writing. Hopefully you got something valuable out of that. And if you were recording yourself or writing it in a journal or scrap paper or something, I always encourage you to transcribe it into a document on your computer, start saving it so that your show can come together and start to accumulate. I put some announcements in the chat. We always have a lot happening in the Soaring Solo community. So if you're new, if you're old, and there's a lot going on, and I'd love to have you get involved. So first up, mark your calendars for Saturday, February 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is my next virtual The Art of Creating the One-Person Play, my free solo theater class. And that is a space where you can share your writing and get feedback from me, and also in the chat from your peers. So no experience necessary, and you don't have to have written anything to attend. You can just show up and get a writing prompt and share if you want to, but you never have to share if you don't want to. So again, that's happening February 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific. Next up, Hollywood Fringe is starting to get into gear. That is happening in June of 2022. And let's see, sign up starts in, I believe, February 1st, somewhere in early February. So if you're considering doing that and you want some coaching around that, I have done the Fringe for the last decade, and our community has been very successful in the Fringe community. So I would love to help you with that. Feel free to email me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com. We can talk about setting up a coaching and getting more in depth about the Hollywood Fringe and what that might look like. I've also been doing a online virtual reading series called Reveal. That's been happening since September. That's going through the spring of 2022, and we may even extend it because it's been very well received. And this is really just an opportunity for solo artists to share their solo scripts as works in progress, really just a virtual reading for a virtual audience, and get some feedback on your script. What's working, what's not working, what's clear, what's unclear, where is there an opportunity to expand or edit down, those sorts of things. So if that's something you'd like to apply to be a part of, again, just email me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com, and we can talk about the possibility of you getting involved with Revealed. Also, throughout the pandemic, I did an experience called Isolate, Meditate, Create. And that is where we used meditation and visualization to serve as writing prompts for your solo shows. So there's 120 episodes of Isolate, Meditate, Create on my YouTube channel. So if you just go on YouTube and look up Jessica Lynn Johnson, Soaring Solo, you will find those videos and a whole slew of other videos and tutorials that I have about solo theater. But if you think that you might need some help getting out of your head, getting out of a critic brain or just a busy mind in order to be able to write your show or to get into subconscious memories that might be part of your story, then I really recommend Isolate, Meditate, Create. And again, you can find it on my YouTube channel. And then if today was enjoyable for you and you want to return, again, the next Free Write Friday is happening February 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So just sign up the same way you did today to join us for that. And if you missed any episodes, those are all on my YouTube channel as well. You can find those there. Okay, well, that's where I'm going to leave it today. I will leave the chat up in case you want to jot down any of those announcements or continue saying hi to one another. But thank you so much for joining me today for Free Write Friday, and have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.